Hi, welcome to Becoming. I'm Vimala Rane. At Becoming, we help you to believe in yourself, begin the action, and bloom with grace. Sometimes the journey of life isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be. One way to do that is through reading books. Reading books will help us to take some steps to unbecome who we are. Some books you read, some books you enjoy, but some books just swallow you up, heart and soul. I'm going to introduce you to one such book. Before that, let me ask you a few questions. Did you grow up with an abusive father or mother? Do you come from a background of violent, traumatic, and impoverished childhood? Have you gone through pain in your life, physical or emotional? Do you play mental games with yourself? Do you wallow in self-pity? And finally, do you want to understand toughness and authenticity? Then it's time to water your soul with a book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. In this book, Goggins reveals how you can use your suffering as a catalyst instead of an excuse to stop. It is the inspirational true life story of David Goggins with real words and purity. He details his transformation from abused, depressed, overweight young man with no future into a US Armed Forces icon and one of the world's top endurance athletes. David Goggins, the retired Navy SEAL. He is the only member of the US Armed Forces ever to complete SEAL training, US Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controlling training. He's competed in more than 60 ultra marathons, setting course records, and a former Guinness World Record holder for completing 4,000 plus pull-ups in 17 hours. Goggins is also a former US Navy SEAL who saw active duty in both Afghanistan and Iraq wars. But this ultra-endurance athlete, David Goggins, had a haunted past. He grew up in a nightmare in which he, his brother, and his mother was physically and psychologically abused by his father. He struggled with racism and bullying. He has asthma, he has sickle cell anemia. He barely graduates high school with 1.6 GPA. He was obese. He suffered from an undiagnosed congenital heart defect, a hole in his heart. David, in his own words about his childhood, I was just an insecure, scared kid. I was at all time low and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was exactly what everybody said I was going to be, which is nothing. The best thing that happened to me, no one helped me. But everything got changed when he became committed to discipline and toughness and says that when you find what truly drives you, nothing can stop your journey to greatness. Let's hear from David, the hardest man alive, as to how to train our mind and use pain and struggle to get extreme mental toughness and calloused mind. Here we go.
Every day of my entire life, I live like it was day one, week one of buds. So I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get morning time, every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off for running since December 2016.
All right, so you're a retired Navy SEAL. You went through the Air Force Special Operations Community. You've deployed to Iraq, broken the world record for pull-ups, run a few ultramarathons. So what do you say when you're introducing yourself to people? Like, how do you introduce yourself to people with all of that?
Well, kind of how you said it right there. I'm David Goggins.
So what got you interested in the SEAL community in the first place? Like, what caught your eye?
Well, I was spraying for cockroaches when I got out of the Air Force. I was spraying for cockroaches. I was about 297 to be exact. And I saw this Discovery Channel show on TV. And I was like, and that Discovery Channel show was just guys going through Hell Week. And I saw these guys freezing, a lot of water. And I was like, you know what? It brought back memories of me going through pararescue training. So at 297 pounds, I decided to try to be a Navy SEAL. And to make a long story short, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. And that's where it became challenging for me. So I knew to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, you're looking at 3,500 calories is a pound. So I was basically doing a whole bunch of math in my head. So I knew if I were to stop and be stagnant, there was no calories being burned. So I just basically trained all day long. So that's how I went. And before I knew it, I lost the weight. But when you lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, you're not in the best shape of your life. You got a lot of cardio in, but you're just not in great shape. So my first place in the Navy was buds. So, my first indoctrination to the real Navy was buds.
So how'd that go, like getting to buds then, not being in the greatest shape and maybe not necessarily healthy?
I wasn't in bad shape, but my body was broken. Because when you go from 297 to 191, in that time period, and you're running, you're starting to break yourself. So I broke myself before I even got into Navy SEAL training. My first time going through buds, I got to Hell Week, stress fractures, double pneumonia. I got rolled back day 1, week 1. Second time going through buds, I actually fractured my patella before I got into Hell Week. Made it through Hell Week with a fractured patella, went 2 weeks after Hell Week, and then because I didn't want to get rolled back to day 1, week 1.
Yeah.
But I couldn't keep up with the class, got rolled back to day 1, week 1 after Hell Week. And then I went through my third time and I graduated that class. We had a guy die in that third Hell Week, class 235. So that's kind of how it happened.
So what did that feel like to keep getting rolled back, keep going through Hell Week? Where did you go when you were doing that in your mind?
What I started figuring out going through buds was that the harder something is, the more it was challenging my mind. So I had to find different ways to stay in the fight. And in staying in the fight, it got me tougher and tougher and tougher. So I'm actually happy I went through 3 Hell Weeks. I never examined myself. And as a human being, you got to examine yourself. And I guess the best place to examine yourself is Navy SEAL Hell Week.
3 times.
So I got to examine myself a few times. So it started there. It started in Hell Week. And it's still going now at 43 years old.
Once you graduated, after getting your trident, where did you go after that?
I graduated August 2001, August 10th, 2001. And as we all know, less than a month later, September 11 happened, So once that happened, my guys were going to airborne school. We got the word about it. I went to SQT, SEAL qualification training. And after that, I went right to SEAL Team 5. And then my second platoon, we got the call. We went to Iraq. I was at SEAL Team 5, Bravo platoon again. Got the second call, went to Iraq. So that's kind of how it went down.
I understand that you lost some friends in Operation Red Wings. So what did that feel like to you?
Being that I was in 3 Hell Weeks, I knew a lot of the guys. I knew every guy that died on the operation. Mm-hmm. So the story touched me so much, I wanted to find a way to raise money for their families. So I found the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. If you're a special operator and you die, it will give 100% tuition to your son or daughter to go to college. Great foundation. So now I got to find something to do to raise money for it. So I started Googling all these different races. I found the Badwater 135. So it's a 135-mile run through Death Valley in the summertime. Had no idea about ultra running. I'm 250 pounds, I'm a big meathead. So here I am, calling the guy up on Wednesday. He goes, hey, you got to qualify for this race. I go, how do you qualify? He says, you got to run 100 miles in 24 hours or less. I'm like, is that even possible? I haven't run over 20 miles the whole year.
Yeah.
Going through buds, I started realizing that you have to learn to control your mind in these situations. Okay. So at mile 70, when I was in the worst shape of my entire life, I was able to draw on being calm. I was able to finish the race.
What's your current daily workout routine? Like say on a long day where you have plenty of time to just do whatever.
Well, even if I don't have plenty of time, I get it in. Yeah, I make it. So I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get up in the morning time, every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off for running since December 2016. Every day, up in the morning. So I also stretch out every day for about 2 to 3 hours. Every day. I've missed 2 days in about 5.5, 6 years. So that's just my routine. And about 4 days a week, I'm in the gym hitting the weights. Because you can't just be a runner. So this is every single day, the monotony of my life. But this is what builds discipline. And not everybody, I'm not telling everybody to do this, but this is my lifestyle. This is how I build self-discipline.
What are some of the most valuable things you learned in the Navy, be it about yourself or?
You know what? Some of the most valuable things, a lot of people say teamwork and stuff like that. Teamwork is big, but I learned that you have to be a good individual first. You have to triple down on your weaknesses, because a lot of times, like, you always count on your buddy next to you to help you out. Sometimes that buddy's not going to be there. You got to make sure that you are a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. And that's one thing, you got to have your buddy's back, they got to have your back, but you got to work on yourself every single day. And that's one thing that the military has to really triple down on. Is something that we're missing nowadays a lot, is that total accountability of every day, going back to boot camp in your mind. You may grab, boot camp sucks. SEAL training sucks. All these things suck, and people are so happy to get out of it, but that's what makes you good. Remember how you were when you got out of boot camp? You're kind of all like robotic and locked in, and then it slowly goes away. You get comfortable, you start to sag a little bit, start to walk around. You start to lose that militant discipline. That's the one thing I learned not to do in the military, is the military teaches you these great codes, ethics, morals, values. You got to continue to work on those. Like everything, it's a muscle. You stop going to the gym, you stop running, you get weak. The military teaches you these great values of strength and honor and code and all these other things. But what we do is we don't keep up the discipline of all that stuff, and we lose it. So the one thing I learned is to not lose that thing, that boot camp, SEAL training, whatever you go to, whatever your A school is, whatever it is, keep that discipline up. That's the biggest thing.
David believes that he is the toughest man on the planet. He thinks that he can complete virtually any task set before him. The question he asks himself in times of struggle contains only two simple words: what if? Let's listen from David Goggins himself about the concept of what if.
The what if mentality is a mentality of a lot of us in this world have people who say we cannot do something. You can't do it, you're too short, you look a certain way, you act a certain way, you're not smart enough. I hit that roadblock every time. I was 300 pounds. I'll never forget, I was 300 pounds. I went from 175 to 300 pounds, and my goal was to be a Navy SEAL. Impossible goal. And every Navy recruiter that saw me said that, besides one. Every recruiter said, there's no way, man. You're 297 pounds, and you gotta lose so much weight so fast. I talked to one recruiter, and I never forget getting back in my truck, and he said, you cannot do this. But I got in my truck and I said to myself, but what if I could? What if I could pull off this miracle? How will I feel at the very end if I can defy all the odds? The what if mentality is, this guy told me I was a 36th African-American Navy SEAL in Navy SEAL history in over 70 years. This guy told me there's only 35 African-Americans to ever be a Navy SEAL. He was pretty much telling me, you ain't got what it takes. I took that and said, what if I can be the 36th? Versus taking what he said, all the negativity he's putting on me, because he can't imagine himself doing what I'm about to do. So most people who can't imagine it, they reflect. It's like a mirror. They put that right on you. If they can't see themselves doing it, I can't see you doing it. I take that mirror and I totally discard it. And I say, what if I can be the 36th person to ever do it? So I use all their negativity as positivity and fuel to get me to where I need to go. What drives me today is being my best. And being my best is a never-ending journey. A lot of people call me obsessed. That's fine. I probably am obsessed. When you finally realize, like for me, that humble beginning I had, when you realize that I could have literally given up, and right now at 43, I could still be a 300-pound man spraying for cockroaches. It's truly amazing that a lot of us walk this planet Earth being a fraction of what we're capable of being. I look back on when I was 24 years old, and that could have been my 100%. If I chose to take the path of least resistance, that could have been my 100%. Never knowing that in that 300-pound body, the kid who couldn't read, all this other stuff, 4th grade reading level, is now a person that's been through almost every special ops training in the world, has broke several records, and has continued to grow. Once you realize what's on the other side of that, that will keep you. I'm the most driven person in the world because I realized that I was leaving so much on the table. I was leaving so much on the table, never knowing that inside that fat guy was this person here. And once you peel the crust, peel that crust away and see who you really are, you open your mind to a whole nother world. So I've opened my mind up to a whole nother world that most people can't even fathom because they haven't dug deep into their own personal problems. So people think I'm crazy because I found a whole nother way of living. I think they're crazy for never even trying to get to the other side of whatever's in front of them. So what drives me every day is finding more of myself.
And finally, seek out pain, fall in love with suffering. We all have feelings of insecurity that we aren't fulfilling our potential, but not everyone has the ability to make the necessary changes. This is the story of one man who did. While running 200+ mile races is clearly not for everyone, we can learn a lot from his attitude and forging of extreme mental toughness. Life experiences, especially negative experiences, help callous the mind, but it's up to us where that callus lines up. Get a copy of the book and let it change how you approach your mind, comfort, and goals. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and share and subscribe and click on the bell button so you will not miss out on any of my videos. I'm glad to share a coaching program we have at Becoming Training and Coaching Consultancy called Becoming a True Warrior, which is specially designed for people who have suffered abusive relationship and childhood trauma and for people who want to develop a warrior mindset. Please contact the number or the email ID given if you need one. I wish you all the best to have a killer mentality by believing in yourself, beginning the action, and blooming with grace. I'll come back again with another book with a lot of lessons. Bye for now. Wish you all the best.